welcome to another fresh edition of Poly Playbook.
We're serving up all the hot action, cool plays,
and everything in between for Cal Poly Athletics.
I'm Connor McCarthy.
I'm Nate Edelman.
I'm Brian Strong.
Poly Playbook starts now.
Who do you think will win the Super Bowl this year?
I think the Patriots are going to win.
Hi, I'm Joe Schatz, and I'm here at Spanos Stadium.
I'm Megan Healy here at Staples Center.
Myself will be taking on Sierra Highland, best pitcher in Big West softball history. Let's see how this goes.
Tune in every week to Poly Playbook, right here on Mustang News.
Hello and welcome to another fresh edition of Poly Playbook. We're serving up all the hot action, cool plays, and everything in between for Cal Poly Athletics. I'm Lauren Kozicki. Poly Playbook starts now. In a historic move, the Cal Poly Athletic Department promoted Sarah Mackenzie to Director of Strength and Conditioning.
After 8 years as assistant strength and conditioning coach, Cal Poly promoted Sarah Mackenzie to Director of Strength and Conditioning.
I kind of got thrown right into it with the resignation of the head coach that was here before me, but it was awesome because it kind of didn't give me a chance to react or to do anything, so I just had to acting as the head coach, and it kind of was nice to just jump right into the role because I had so much responsibility in the past. So it was awesome when I finally got through the interview process and got to actually have the real title instead of just the interim title. So
Mackenzie became just the second woman to be named Director of Strength and Conditioning among all Division I schools with football programs.
There's a ton of women that they hold this position in other capacities, like maybe they're the director of Olympic sports, but they're not overseeing a program that has football too. So it's really cool to not be ruled out as that. It was really nice when the director left. He was in charge of football, and I had assisted him for 7 years, but the athletic training staff and the administration upstairs and the football coaches were like, we still want you to be a huge part of this program, and so it was my job to find somebody that complemented what I do. So I hired a great assistant who had a lot of football experience, and together we make a really, really good team. So it's going to be it's awesome to see them next season and see how our two styles of training help them out.
She says her coaching style is different from most and believes that building good relationships with the athletes is the best way to find success.
I like to develop relationships because I believe that if they believe in you and what you're doing and they know that you have their best interest in mind, that it really does help foster a really good relationship, and then it kind of takes care of all the work for you. If you build that with the upperclassmen, then the younger kids follow suit, and then before you know it, you have a whole team that buys it and everybody believes in what you're doing.
Sora Milam, Mustang News.
After a historic run of success for the Cal Poly volleyball team, Coach Sam Crossan took a job at UC Berkeley. Jay Serrano has more about the longtime assistant who will be taking over.
After rebuilding the Cal Poly volleyball team and leading them to back-to-back NCAA tournaments, Coach Sam Crossan will be moving on to be the head coach at UC Berkeley next year. Cal Poly's new head coach is Carolyn Walters, Crossan's former assistant coach who has been with the team for 10 years and played a key role in the team's success.
And I was fortunate enough that our head coach, Sam, the past few years has let me do so many things within my role as an assistant and gave me the flexibility to do as much as I wanted. So this transition will be rather seamless. It already has been. I feel like I have a good grasp on things and I'm very excited for the future.
While playing for a new head coach can be a daunting prospect, returning players are excited to work with Walters.
Caroline was with us all last season. But having her be the head coach, it was so fun and so awesome, and just seeing her take on that more leadership role was so cool. She just takes it and runs with it, and I have full confidence in her that it's going to be amazing.
Walters' approach will not be identical to Crossan's, but spectators won't see any major differences between last season's team and this one.
We have a good thing going, and I don't think that it's necessary to make many changes from that. We have a great group of kids coming back, a great group of recruits coming in, so it'll just be a blend of all of those players where I think we'll see some small changes, and you always try to make changes based on the people that you have, so that will organically change a little bit.
Jay Serrano, Mustang News.
The men's basketball team is still looking to pick up their first conference win after an 80-63 loss to Fullerton on Saturday. One bright spot for the Mustangs was bench play. Guard Job Alexander and forward Kuba Nuzal led the team offensively and scored double-digit points. Fullerton went on a 17-6 run in the closing minutes of the game when Cal Poly was forced to start intentionally fouling. The Mustangs struggled on defense throughout the game, allowing Fullerton to make 56% of its field goals. Cal Poly has been tied or led in the second half of all 5 conference losses.
Definitely
feel like we're making progress. You know, maybe it's not showing on the scoreboard, but you know, the team, we try to stay together, try to stay locked in, and we can just improve from this. We're on the bottom right now, and there's only a way up right now, so I think that's where we got to go.
The team travels to UC Riverside on Thursday and CSU Northridge on Saturday. Northridge beat Cal Poly by just 4 points in overtime earlier this month. We are going to take a look at a new Mustang Game Day segment. Here's a sneak peek at the first edition of Around the Court.
Hello and welcome to Mustang Game Day's first ever edition of Around the Court. I'm Sydney Finkel with Mustang News, joined today by Cal Poly point guard Donovan Fields. Donovan, how are you doing?
Doing good, how are you?
Good. So we're just going to walk around the court and get to know him a little better. You ready? Yes, okay. So first question, you guys are coming off a tough loss to Riverside, still looking for your first conference win. What's your mentality going into this weekend's game against Fullerton?
It's definitely a must-win game, so we're looking to play with our chip on our shoulder and just really get after it. Fullerton's a really good team, but we really need to win this game.
Okay, and you are a senior on your team, your last season for Cal Poly. What kind of leadership role have you taken on?
I definitely took a big leadership role as far as like helping guys out with stuff on the court, off the court, study habits, all that kind of stuff, and just really being like a big brother to all the younger guys on the team.
All right, and you, congratulations, became the 24th player in Cal Poly history to reach 1,000 career points last weekend. Walk me through what was going on in your head when that happened in the game.
It was a pretty crazy feeling. I think we were down at the time, but I was really just thinking about winning the game. But at the same time, I knew how many points away I was, so I just figured like, let me just see if I can shoot the ball right here, see if I make it, and I ended up making it. And I was like, all right, cool, I just hit 1,000 points. But I mean, it was a surreal feeling.
All right, and so if you weren't to play collegiate basketball, what other sport would you choose to play?
I played football in high school, so I probably would end up playing football, to be honest. But another like crazy thing nobody really knows, like I used to skateboard too. So like I probably would try to be a professional skateboarder or something like that.
You can watch the full segment on mustangnews.net to hear more about Donovan Fields. Even though the team is still trying to win their first conference game, senior point guard Donovan Fields accomplished a feat that only 24 players in program history have done.
Cal Poly point guard number 3, Donovan Fields, became the 24th player in Cal Poly history to reach 1,000 career points. It was on January 12th in Cal Poly's game against Northridge, where Fields tied a career-high 30 points, one of those being his 1,000th.
It's an amazing feeling. I wasn't able to do it in high school, so I definitely wanted to be able to do it in college, so it's just a really good feeling. All the hard work that I've put in is really paying off.
Fields reached this milestone after only 3 years on the Cal Poly basketball team. Head coach Joe Calero says that Fields has done exactly what they needed.
His improvement over the course of 3 years has been astonishing. His assist-turnover ratio has improved every single year. His field goal percentage, his decision-making, his leadership qualities, his verbal ability to put people in the right place. So all we want, with all our players, is continual improvement.
Fields says that his goal since childhood has been to just play basketball, wherever that may take him.
Yeah, just playing Division I basketball in general. Like as a kid, since I was in like 9th grade, always wanted to play Division I basketball, whether that be in New York, Texas, or wherever it was. I was willing to go anywhere across the country. It didn't matter to me as long as I was playing at the highest level. Yeah, it's just a really good feeling. Like I really put a lot of work into basketball. I pretty much sacrificed a lot of things for basketball, so it's just good to see some positive results out of it.
Sydney Finkel, Mustang News.
The women's basketball team took their 4th loss in a row on Saturday against UC Irvine, 73-57. The Mustangs are now 1-5 in conference and 4-13 overall. The Mustangs were not able to keep up with number 5 UC Irvine. With 30 turnovers and 15 missed three-pointers, Cal Poly lost 73-57. This is the Mustangs' 2nd game in a row with captain senior point guard Di Staley out on an injury. Freshman guard Allie Hallenberg filled in for Staley for her 2nd career start, scoring 7 points for Cal Poly. Junior forward Elise Rofos led Cal Poly in scoring with 11 points in her 22 minutes of play. Rofos went 4 for 6 off the bench. The Mustangs are currently in last place in the Big West Conference, but hope to change that when they travel to Hawaii this Saturday, February 2nd, to take on the Rainbow Wahine. The Cal Poly men's tennis team traveled to USC Saturday. The team broke its two-match winning streak, falling short 4-0 in the ITA kickoff weekend match. Double partners Dominic Bouchard and Gary Vardanian won their match at the number 3 position and are now 2-0 this season in doubles. Freshman Gary Vardanian is also undefeated in singles for the season with a record of 5-0. The team came up just short to South Alabama in the consolation match this Sunday. Bouchard and Vardanian secured another victory, dominating their set 6-0 at the number 3 position. In the final match, sophomore Alex Stater fought hard, winning the first set 6-3. Jaguars took the next 2 sets for the 4-3 win. Women's tennis took on Sonoma State in its dual season opener this past Saturday. Junior Claire Bouquet won at the number 6 spot for singles, which kicked things off for the Mustangs, and sophomore Mackenzie Worsnop won her match as well at the number 5 position to tie the score 2-2. But the Mustangs lost 4-3. Women's tennis then traveled to San Jose State on Sunday. Double team Emily Ackerman and Grace Oliphant pulled off their first win of the season, winning 7-5. Emily Louis Madoris had a strong start in her singles match at the number 1 spot in straight sets. Freshman Kimberly Bunu won her match in 3 sets at the number 2 position for the Mustangs. The team did not pull off the overall win, but is looking to redeem themselves next weekend when they take on Alabama and Gonzaga. Track and field competed at the University of Washington Invitational this past weekend in Seattle. Junior triple jumper Abibat Rahamin Davies finished in second place in her event with a jump of 40 feet and 5.5 inches inside Dempsey Stadium. Rahamin Davies jumped rank 3rd in program history for indoor triple jumps. Fellow Mustang Kahilis Bahudi finished right behind Rahamin Davies in 3rd place. Bahudi's triple jump measured at 38 feet, 8 3/4 inches. The Mustangs' next track and field event is at the New Mexico Collegiate Classic in Albuquerque on February 1st and 2nd. Cal Poly Swim and Dive is coming off of a win in a head-to-head meet against UC Santa Cruz this weekend. 21 Mustangs won an event and 4 swimmers won multiple individual events. Miles Dunn and Danielle McAvey won multiple events for the men's team, and Amelia Feck and Elizabeth Peterson showed up big for the women's team, also winning multiple events. The Mustangs combined to win 29 events, a season high. The team's next meet will be at home against the UCSB Gauchos February 2nd. Coming up in Mustang sports, the men's basketball team will travel to UC Riverside this Thursday for a rematch. Cal Poly hosted Riverside on January 23rd, losing 74-51. The game will start at 7 p.m. On Saturday, the team will be back on the road for a game at CSU Northridge, also at 7 p.m. Updates for both games will be available at gopoly.com. And on Saturday, the women's basketball team will be taking on rival Hawaii. The game will be in Mott Athletic Center at 7:30 p.m. Well, that's all we have for Poly Playbook Sports Action this show. You can follow us on Instagram and Snapchat, or you can log on to mustangnews.net for continuous Cal Poly sports coverage. I'm Lauren Kozicki. Have a great rest of your week.